1, 2, 3, dig.
Richland is an environmentally conscious community. This can be seen in how its residents live their lives and in how the community is developed. Thus, it came as no surprise when Richland made history on July 1st by becoming the first local government in the United States to adopt the International Green Construction Code. The codes create a standard of guidelines for buildings that are more energy efficient, consume less water, and are more sustainable and environmentally sensitive. The International Green Construction Code was developed by the International Code Council, which is a membership association made up of 50,000 members including architects, building manufacturers, permit and inspection personnel, and builders. Until recently, regulating green construction was missing from the family of codes. With no solid reference point for developers to follow, a checkerboard of sustainable communities sprouted around the nation with no rhyme or reason to them. With an increased call for green code guidelines, a grassroots movement began taking on steam. This movement was heard loud and clear by the ICC, and the need for a baseline document was apparent.
There was almost an organic grassroots push coming from our membership about helping them with building a more sustainable built environment. A lot of pressure, market forces, the general public demanding more energy efficient buildings, buildings that consume less water, buildings that were, in terms of a site location, more sustainable, more environmentally sensitive.
The International Green Construction Code was made available to the public March 15, 2010, and the Richland City Council officially accepted adoption of the codes at its first meeting in August. Fulfilling a commitment made to his organization, International Code Council CEO Rick Weiland traveled to Richland to personally congratulate city staff on the adoption of the code and to present the city with an award of recognition.
I think, a lot of times great things happen in sometimes the most unsuspecting places. It says a lot about your city leadership. It says a lot about your city staff.
A key aspect towards Richland's adoption of the IGCC was a provision allowing the code to become a voluntary means of creating a green environment. Richland adopted the code as a voluntary compliance document for construction, not as a code to be forced onto the community.
It's difficult to say to someone who's developing a building, you must do such and such green construction, because potentially that puts a very big financial burden on the developer. And that's not the intent specifically of the Green Construction Code.
That is why these codes are for guideline purposes only, yet create a standard in green construction techniques. Richland now has a document staff and developers can look at to find ways to lessen their environmental footprint, starting from site selection, to materials used, to performance of the building that is being built. But why would we want to incorporate these conservation methods into the building stock in our country? Can building more sustainable buildings help level out our country's energy crisis?
40% of the energy that's consumed in this country is consumed by buildings. Almost 70% of the electricity that's produced in this country is used up by buildings.
It is apparent our country needs a document like the IGCC, and it is exciting Richland is at the forefront of this movement. Richland City Council developed a leadership plan defined by 7 key elements to promote strategic leadership and to guide our community into the future. One look at this strategic leadership plan illuminates City Council's goals related towards sustainable practices. Richland is excited to build a more sustainable community, a sentiment echoed by developers looking to conduct business in our beautiful community.
The architects are already very enthused about it. Their clients have already asked for this. In fact, many of them expect it when they come to do development here in the city of Richland. I think we're already moving in that direction. It's not going to be a big burden. I think it's going to be an easy transition.